In order at 6 o'clock, I believe. Everyone please stand for the pledge. This is why we will lead it.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Staten, we will call the meeting to order, and just like to extend a thank you to my colleagues on the board here for your initiative and being here tonight, and conduct our business, and we'll move on. Okay, any presentation?
No presentation scheduled for.
Okay, we'll go to Board of Education Subcommittee reports, if any.
Sure. Yep. So the Board Operations Relation and Development Committee, that's Lynn, Patty, and I will meet on February 17th. The School Boards Institute, we have the Legislative Forum. That's Thursday night. And Dr. and I will be there. And our Policy Committee will meet again February 11th before the next board meeting. And then we met before the last board meeting, so we've got some policies to approve. That's it for our subcommittee reports.
Okay, and that's included in your superintendent's report?
For superintendent's report, so I want to, yep, as I said, no, that's fine. Again, legislative forums Thursday night. Think Pink game was held last night. We had a great crowd. DJ was there. They packed the elementary school gymnasium. I think they raised over $4,300 for breast cancer. So that was great. Thank you to all the companies that donated gifts and gift cards for the event. So very successful, obviously. So we appreciate the support. Spring sport teams, we will approve some coaches tonight. We've got some more to approve when we get more numbers for ensure we have enough players to offer some teams. But I do want to highlight our girls indoor track team won Center State Conference this weekend at OCCC. Boys placed third. Congratulations to them. And I think that's it for current sports. And then fireworks over school, I just want to report out our student council. They're actually going to meet today, so I'm sure they'll probably meet again this week. They're still working on what the carnival is going to look like that night, but we do have we collaborated with the town of Paris, and they're on board with offering the fireworks. And it's going to look different this year, but we're excited that we're going to bring that event back.
Dave, could I ask you a question in regards to that?
Yeah.
Who's the representative from the school in working the details out with the town? Is that you?
I've been in communication with the town, yeah.
Because we have a new student council now. Who used to do it?
So last year it was Mr. Hutchinson and Mr. Triglia, and then she left, and so it's Mr. Hutchinson. He's the only advisor. Right, okay, right in the bank. Yeah, he's an advisor.
And I'm assuming he's familiar with the success of the past and the negativity of the past. I'm just
I believe that he and Mr. Trolley worked very closely last year.
okay.
So I'm sure, and they were close colleagues.
It was
so.
2 years ago.
No,
We didn't
last
have
year.
it last fire.
The previous.
Oh,
Previous
and
year.
Yeah, we
I'm
didn't
sure
have
she's
fireworks.
here.
We still had an event last year,
Yeah.
but we didn't have fireworks. But he knows what happened before. Yeah, we're going to try to increase police presence this year, and we're going to try to contain it within the confines of our district.
So you're involved with that. That was my only concern.
Yeah, yeah.
So are the fireworks going to be launched from the park like they were before?
Yep, the intent is to close the park, and the only people in there would be those setting off the fireworks, and the community will be on our campus.
Yeah.
It's very hard to.
Yeah, you can't
supervise
release that. No.
Yeah. Park.
So on our campus would be
The football field, the city?
the football field. That would be it.
Yeah, football field. I mean, maybe the baseball field too. I mean, to be honest, I used to come years ago. We would actually stand in the park, so that people would be able to get a place. We're still firming up and talking about parking and solidify some plans, but we're excited to bring fireworks back. Well, so they talked about food truck, but I think Sports Boosters is going to open the concession stand. And then a lot of the teams also offer food, so they want to take away the ability for most teams.
So that'll be on the school premises.
Yeah. That's the plan, but again, it's still being discussed. I want to talk about, as you mentioned, the BOCES annual meeting is scheduled for April 2nd. So if you are interested in attending, let Marie know so that we can send our list of BOCES. And I just want to remind you of the invitation I believe you received in that email for the National Honor Society ceremony on February 26th in the high school auditorium. And just remind everyone, we are holding a special board meeting this Thursday, January 30th at 4 o'clock to approve some capital project bids that we will do tomorrow. So we appreciate those that can make it. I know it was last minute, but
Why couldn't we go in tonight? No.
because we open the bids tomorrow, so we don't even have the information yet. There's a tight timeline on that. That's why the architects want us to approve it soon. So I appreciate your response. And that is all I have for the superintendent's report.
All right, we'll move on to old business.
The one item there is the UV funding, and at this point, I'll turn it over to Mr. Collins.
Okay, I'm just going to share this so that the people at home will be able to see it. You guys have this in front of you as well. After the presentation last week, a question came up, have we looked at what the cost would be for an electric bus in comparison to a diesel? So with the incentives that are available, the New York School Bus Incentive Program is that top box, the one that we are probably guaranteed or most likely to get. So there, with the cost of the bus being $436,000, I think I quoted $445 last time, but that had a level 2 charger included with it. So I talked to Christine after our meeting. The cost would be $436, and then with the incentives there, you can see if $257,000 gets us down to a net cost of $179. If we receive the EPA funding and then the NSBIP funding would be $100,000 on top of that, would be $270, get us down to $166,000. And the cost of a 66 passenger diesel bus is there, $179,917. So as was in my head, it gets us to the price of a diesel bus basically, and that's what these numbers do bear out. Then down at the bottom, there's also this $40,000 of tax incentives from the federal government that schools could be eligible for, of up to $40,000. And the charger was another thing, there's up to $65,000 available from NYSERDA to pay for the chargers. Where the electric bus things are heading, nobody really knows. But certainly the cost isn't the barrier to us moving forward. And then behind this document, so I should have scrolled this down. So there's the NSBIP program, and then below that is if we receive the EPA as well as the NSBIP funding to get us down to the $166,000. There's the $179 for a diesel bus. And then the next handout that I gave you is just a sample resolution that the board, we would ask you to approve at the next meeting. This would be the language that could go on the referendum on May 20th. And that would be, the first one would be just to purchase 2 diesel school buses at a total cost of not to exceed $360,000. I expect that would go through without any issue. And then if the board desires, they could put up a second resolution, which would be, and this has the 445 in it, we would correct that number to remove the level 2 charger, but would be to approve the purchase of 1 electric bus. So the community could make the decision. First referendum would allow us to buy 2 diesel buses. If they approve that, if they approve this one as well, it would give us that ability to buy an electric bus also. I think it would be, we would have to make it clear from the board's perspective that, we're not looking to buy 3 buses. We're looking to buy at most 2. If proposition A or B1, as I have them labeled up there, is approved, then it would be 2 diesel buses. If B1 and B2 were approved, then the board could have at their discretion to potentially buy a diesel bus and an electric bus. Questions on the information that's in front of you?
So the 2 proposals, the second one includes the EV bus. We have that in the event that they don't approve that, we're going to still proceed with 2 diesel buses.
Yes.
We need the 2 buses.
We need 2 buses. We could combine, there could be a resolution that combines. And if that's the board's desire, we can make that change. But I asked the bond council to give me a resolution that still has the diesel buses standing alone, because mingling them, I fear is a risk, you know. If that were defeated, then we wouldn't be able to buy any buses. Let's hopefully get the 2 diesel buses approved. And then if the community's in support of the electric or the electric bus, then they could approve that as well. And the message we would give, I think, would be, we're only buying 2 buses. If you approve that one of them may be an electric bus. It would still be at the board's discretion.
How are we going to say that?
Yeah.
How are we going to say that?
Yeah.
We have to work on
Yeah.
it. We have to work on
Come
it.
to a meeting, listen.
Yeah, I mean, in the
Yeah, it's
end,
meant to be articulated very well in the delivery.
Yes.
to
On paper,
people.
it's hard.
Because that's why, I asked, just clarifying, it's a lot to digest.
it-
We understand it better than they do.
yeah, and they'll hear it one time, right?
Or they'll read it quickly and say 400,000, I mean, they're gonna look at the
Yeah.
highest figure and say yes or no.
And that number, I think there's $190,000 in there, yeah, and that'll be brought down to 180,000 because of the charger as well. But the bond council, he's not comfortable with putting it the net number. He says if something fell through with the grants, or if you have to front the money, you need to be able to borrow to get the money to pay it. The way that the grants do work, as I understand it, and as Christine's explained to us, they directly paid to the bus company. But the bond council said, nah, I'd rather put the full number in there. So that's another part that we would have to explain, you know. The only thing that would come out of our pocket would be that net of about $180,000 if we were to buy an electric bus. Those are the numbers. If you have questions, we can answer. I think the real chore is if we do decide, if the board decides to go in this direction, trying to explain the electric bus as well as possible. You know, it may be a known, no matter what we say, but it shouldn't be, look at, it's $445,000. We can get one for about the cost of the diesel.
I think that the bigger picture is if we decide, which early for tax talk yet, but if we decide to go above the tax cap and use that money, you know, to just have for additional things, that's gonna be a real hard sell to say, hey, do you wanna buy an electric bus? Or if we go above the tax cap because there's other things that should be. That's, it's gonna be, you've gotta pick one.
Right, understood. Yep.
Thank you very much, John.
Consent agenda new business, which will be 7.1 through 7.10. I will read them. Board has any concerns? Is there anything pulled for discussion? Please inform me. 7.1 is looking for the approval of a maternity leave of absence. 7.2 is looking for the approval of a bus monitor. 7.3 is looking for approval of the appointment of additional athletic appointments for the 2024-25 school year. 7.4 is looking for the approval of an additional athletic appointment. 7.5 is looking for the approval of policy updates. 7.6 is looking for the approval of a substitute teacher aide. 7.7 is looking for the approval of a substitute teacher. 7.8 is looking for the approval of shared service agreement. 7.9 is looking for the approval of our minutes from January 14th, 2025. 7.10 is looking for the approval of the Committee on Special Education recommendations. Does anyone have any questions or concerns?
Yes, Tony, would you please pull 7.3? I'd like to discuss it.
7.3. Do I have a second? CJ, all in favor? Discussion, 7.3. Mrs. Weber?
Okay, so, Mr. Satan did tell us that these are like the interim coaches for spring season. I would be remiss to approve something like this, given that we do not have listed, modified or JV baseball, modified or JV softball, And when you talk about spring sports, the largest percentage of participation across the student body comes from those two sports. One of the names listed here is going to coach in a different sport. And last year, we last minute were scrambling between golf and modified baseball. We had 27 boys sign up for the modified team. We really could have used either a modified A, modified B situation, or really a JV baseball team, and we didn't have it. We had to turn boys away. There are a lot of boys moving up from little. I think, my opinion, is it would be better to approve all of the appointments at once we have a holistic view and every sport has an appropriate, suitable coach assigned to it. I do not want to see us get into a situation where we're scrambling to find modified and JV boys baseball again.
I agree. We go from minor A to minor B. Minor A, minor B are mixed boys, girls. Then they kind of split off and they go into the softball and the little league teams. And then after that, the way that it looks, we have nothing until they hit varsity. I don't know if you've ever been down to that field. I know you have, because I've seen you there. Do you see how many kids are out there playing? So all of a sudden, we take it away for a potential, how many kids are playing on boys golf? We didn't have boys golf last year. So we're gonna bring a brand new sport into this season when we have a huge baseball and softball community with, like Lynn said, it services more students than a boys golf team, in my opinion.
And at bare minimum, we know as baseline, we always have a modified baseball and a modified softball team regardless. So I would have anticipated seeing them on this list.
When do we put signups?
Doing it a week or two ago. You know, I spoke to Lynn this morning on the phone, and I talked to Doug Jones on the phone this morning as well. So we're still waiting. We anticipate having a modified baseball team. We anticipate having a JV baseball team. Once we confirm the numbers through enrollment, then we'll get the coach. We have 2 coaches in mind. We have which is
So the signups went up last week, you said?
a week or two ago. I'm not sure the exact date, but
And then how long do they stay up?
I'm not sure the exact length, but I know they're still up, and that's why we're still waiting to get the numbers. But as I said, we anticipate.
I guess, is it an issue though, that there's not numbers on the sheet, or we don't know?
From my understanding, we just don't know them yet, but once we get them, we can just approve them we've got another board meeting in 2 weeks, so it'll be well ahead of the spring season starting. Same thing with JV softball, girls, we have enough girls, we will field the team. We anticipate
But
having.
Why are we, I'm just saying that, just really for understanding the process, why are we approving this if we don't know the numbers for the other sports? Why don't we have all the information at the same time?
It is my understanding that with these sports, we have the numbers right now. With the other sports, we're still waiting to get those numbers. I'll talk to Doug again tomorrow to figure out where we are in the process.
And you mentioned in your conversation with Mr. Jones, he has 2 candidates?
Yes, we believe we have a candidate for each modified baseball and JV baseball.
I just have to ask the question, then why didn't we have them? Why didn't we get them to us?
My understanding is they haven't confirmed the students. So, yeah, another question.
I'm not questioning you, I'm just,
Yeah,
So.
if we have 2 candidates and we want to save the program, I think CJ's got a very good point. I've been here too many years. The golf is on for a year or 2, then it's off. We have boys golf, no, then we have girls golf, and it's so inconsistent. We've got 2 stable sports, they should be the priority.
Yeah, baseball's in there.
So Lynn asked a good question today too, that I need to follow up on. So I know the parent square message went out to the high school. I don't know that it went to the middle school, because that's where we get a lot of those modified and JV enrollees. Although I would anticipate, I see the modified was tracked, but again, I'll follow up on this and figure out where we are in the process.
like I said, to me, this is an incomplete grid, right? Like I would like to see a holistic view of what our spring sports offerings are and the assigned coaches. On top of that, should we be introducing a JV baseball team? Right, we've not had one. We need uniforms. There are other things that have to go into play. And so, I mean, we would need those numbers, I think, probably more than anything, because we've got to plan ahead for uniforms and field and, you know, all those other things. And see who else has JV teams. I know that was a concern. What other, you know, schools have JV teams, and would it be better to have a modified A and a modified B, and so they get equal playing time still? There's a lot of stuff to work out, so those numbers I think are probably priority.
And also just if you remember last year, we did have a plan to offer a boys and a girls team. We were going to combine with the local district. They were going to take the boys team, we were going to host the girls team, or vice versa, but then they pulled out last minute. And so we didn't try, but-
I absolutely love that we're offering both. I do. I love it. I want every student in our district to be able to participate in as many activities as possible, but not at the expense of others. So I think if we can just get a whole view, I'd be happy with that.
Now, I believe, is it the second Monday of March, the spring season will start, right?
I
So
don't
if
know
we,
the
if
exact date, but as I said, our next board meeting is February 11th, so we've got plenty of
we
time.
get plenty of time, if we were to table this and all the pieces would be put together. As a board, would you feel better?
I would.
I would.
You have no problem with that? Not sure. Okay. So it's not that we're objecting.
Right.
I think I hear the board saying, if we have other pieces and we have candidates, show us a full slate. Rather than appoint someone to one position, then we've got to withdraw them, put them in another position. Let's wait a month and put everything together if we can. Are you guys good with that?
It would be a couple weeks.
Yeah,
Next
that's
meeting,
what
right? Yeah. Okay.
What, that was your concern, Mrs. Webb?
That was my concern.
All right, we're still in discussion, so we'll close discussion. Anyone have any other concerns or questions?
Just a quick question on the shared service. I'm just curious with the town, how, was that a financial thing? or
No,
not?
so that's something we do every year. We go over, we maintain the fields for them, we mow the lawns, sometimes we roll the lawns, and then they come and they do some sweeping after the winter. A lot of the salt and we off the
Awesome.
roads, yeah. So this is something that we do every year with
Yeah,
them,
that's
so,
great.
yep, I've been in contact with JC and Mike Williams and there, but in fact, did we get the signed contract yet? Oh, perfect, okay.
Last year, there was some, I think it was your first year, was it your first year?
Yeah,
There was some misunderstanding between different parties and who was gonna do what and what duties the town would do, what duties we would do. Mr. Wheelock had left, Mr. Staten had just arrived, so a meeting was held and I think we've come to I just asked Dave before the meeting, we've come to an understanding what the responsibilities are. I think we're gonna resurrect what had been successful for a number of years. So,
yeah, because I think there was some time when we hadn't been actually going over there and checking, so we just want to make sure that we're holding up our end of the bargain. So.
okay, all right, so now we are going to approve 7.12, 7.4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 7.10. May I have a motion? CJ. Second, you got Mike. Okay, all in favor? Anyone opposed? Excuse me, I have to abstain. I don't, no, I can't.
No, you
abstain.
don't, because. it's
You don't, we're not
posted.
approving anything.
That
We're
was
not,
pulled.
but even the other ones,
Well,
that was pulled. I'm sorry. Okay, I didn't want to vote for that.
yes, I am.
Okay, all right, so we approve what needed to be approved. We tabled 7.3 for a full listing of positions and sports that we're gonna offer for the spring semester, spring season. Good?
Yeah.
Okay. We will move on to miscellaneous topics. Anyone?
I will say that I'm very, very, very excited and I'm looking forward to the football season coming up. There's some new blood. I've heard nothing but absolutely wonderful things about this Drake gentleman coming from Waterville. And that we were lucky to snag him.
Always
I'm very
good to hear
happy
good
for that.
news.
Yeah.
Do
Always
we know
got-
if we'll be offering, like football conditioning and those types of things through the summer? I think previously that was not.
So that was one of the questions we asked of you, and, yes, the answer is yes. Of course, it's not mandatory to get the kids there, but yes, We talked about starting, during the summer months, and, season will start probably in the middle of August, so in July. I think it's
We've got some also other new coaches on staff who talk about new blood who are interested in getting kids in other sports up here over the summer to start. So we're starting some great.
Good news is always welcome. Public to be heard?
I would like to thank Patty for making the drive up. She comes a long way to get to the board. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, do we need to go to executive session? Just, can I ask a labor related question? Could I just ask the status of our,
I don't think you can.
If it's one single person.
No,
you're
no.
referring to?
no, it's,
Nope, I don't think.
Oh, the contract?
you can't do
No,
that?
no.
Okay, so no news is good news?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. Okay, and with all things said, we need a motion to adjourn. Mike, second.
That sounds nice.
Ron, Mr. Patelli, second. All in favor?
Okay.